Now, Reddit also included the left-leaning subreddit Chapo Trap House, which is a lot less fun to say. Or more fun to say. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Over rule violations, saying, quote, all communities on Reddit must abide by our content policy in good faith. It said, we banned the Donald because it has not done so. Despite every opportunity, the community has consistently hosted and upvoted more rule-breaking content than average, antagonized us and other communities, and the moderators have refused to meet our basic expectations. Until now, we've worked in good faith to help them preserve a community and as a space for its users through the warnings and changes, the quarantining, and more.
And I'm fairly certain I've been on that one. I could have been wrong because I feel like we did cover a story.
Yeah, I mean, there's also been reports that like Donald itself hasn't been very popular in a while. Like, there have been people saying like, "Wow, that finally got shut down. I moved on from that a while ago." Yeah, like a bunch of people have since abandoned it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was pretty aggressive when I looked at it.
You know, when in 2016 it was huge. So the subreddit was created in 2015 when Trump was running for president. Good segue, Nash. And quickly became a very significant online base for him, boasting just under 800,000 users, which I previously mentioned. While it does not have an official connection to Trump, he has been known to share memes from it. And in July 2016, when he was running for president, he did an Ask Me Anything.
From that Reddit.
What do you think? What do you think people asked him on that subreddit?
That's insane. I can't even imagine.
What would you ask Donald Trump in that subreddit?
What is the hair, dude? Is it there? Is it there?
Is it real?
Is it real?
So, last year with the actual subreddit itself,
prove it.
Go fuck yourself. It quarantined the page, meaning it was placed behind a warning screen over comments that the Reddit. It said it incited violence, even though that the platform had also prevented posts from the subreddit from reaching the front page. So this isn't necessarily news to the actual Donald. Now we're going to take this on a case-by-case basis. In terms of the subreddit, the Donald, these are just people who like Donald Trump, just trying to be funny on the internet. Does this really need to be banned? Because I think this is the most ridiculous one out of all of them. And just now Reddit is going to be the police of what's okay and what isn't okay. And now, granted, they did play fair. They did ban a left-wing channel, which is the first I've seen ever, if not in a long time, that's actually notable. It didn't quite make headlines as much as the right-wing channels does, but leftists, be aware, you're next. Left-wing extremists, you're next. We're going to talk about Twitch and Donald Trump in a second, and David Duke and Richard Spencer following. But, Kyle Klinsky did a 20-minute piece on this, which I'll link to on our Instagram and You Mad About Podcast. Kyle Klinsky is a big left-wing guy. He's a democratic socialist, a big Bernie supporter. Some of the things that I think he says is ridiculous, but a lot of things he says I think is very insightful. He's very knowledgeable. He's very logical, and he's very honest.
He definitely doesn't talk out of his ass.
No, he talks too much, if anything. But he did a whole piece on this, and, he is someone who could be censored because he speaks about politics. He could potentially say something that's considered hate speech, depending who you ask.
Which, honestly, that has to do a lot with sort of the China thing we'll get into a lot later. But this is probably the best example to talk about in relations to how Reddit typically would monitor stuff. So one of my good friends in college, he was on Reddit a lot, and he followed this meme account, and the title of the subreddit is like the actual where everybody's posting, for those who don't know, and it was called Water N-words, but it didn't say N-words.
It said the actual word.
Yeah,
yes, thank you, Nash. Now we won't be banned for hate speech. High five.
It said water N-words, and that violated the community rules, and so it got they changed the name of it to HydroHomies.
That's the episode title right there.
That's the thing. That was the whole that was it. Like, they just told them, hey, you can't have this, because all the subreddit did was post memes about water, like about drinking water, about things in relation to water. That's
well, I think that is fair. You shouldn't name your subreddit something with the actual N-word in it.
Yeah, but they weren't,
Right, I know, but still, it's still
exactly like
even if it has nothing to do with black people.
Yeah. They were just doing it as a joke, because it wasn't like, not to be like crude or anything, they weren't trying to offend anybody. It was just sort of like, we like water. Like, we are people who interact with water. Like, that was the whole subreddit.